I once sat in that quiet room, one late afternoon, across from Mr. James, 68 years old, widowed, living alone in a peaceful rural town. He didn't come in because of physical pain. It was something harder to describe. "I'm not myself anymore, doctor," he said softly. "I don't feel anything when I touch myself. No desire, no connection, just this hollow emptiness, light as breath." I'm Dr. Brian Smith, a men's health specialist who spent over 30 years walking alongside men on their journey to stay alive, not just in heartbeat, but in the parts of life that make them feel alive. And today, I need to tell you something. A truth very few dare to say out loud, maybe not even you. It's possible that your everyday habit, something as seemingly harmless as masturbation, could be quietly cutting off blood flow to the part of your body that needs to stay alive the most, your penis. Not because you're aging, not because your hormones are dropping, but because of small, repeated actions done the same way every day that slowly erode the connection between you and your senses, between you and your partner, between you and your sense of manhood. I know this isn't easy to hear, but if you've ever laid in bed next to your wife and felt afraid to even reach for her hand, if you've ever wondered, "There's something wrong with me, but I can't quite name it," then you're not alone. And no, you are not broken. You just need to understand the right way. If you're still listening to this right now, I invite you to type a simple sentence. "I still want to feel connected." That tells me you're still here, that you still care. And if any part of this message resonates with you, please tap the like button and subscribe, because today's video might be a small shift, but a deep one your body will thank you for. Now, you might want to pour yourself a warm cup of tea or grab your favorite plate of fruit. Sit down with me, as if we were two old friends finally talking about something we've spent a lifetime avoiding. Because we're about to begin a real conversation about you and the 5 silent but dangerous mistakes men make when masturbating after 60 that no one ever warned you about. Mistake number 1, ignoring the body's early warning signs. There's a kind of silence that men over 60 have mastered, the silence with their own bodies. We don't complain much. We're not quick to name the things that feel off, especially when those changes happen in a part of us that once held quiet pride, the penis. I once asked a patient, "When was the last time you woke up and felt that sense of, 'I'm still full of vitality'?" He gave a half smile and said, "I honestly don't remember, doc. These days, it's like things just faded away, and I didn't even notice when." That story is more common than you might think. After 60, many men begin to notice that down there isn't as responsive. Erections come slower, don't last as long, or don't come at all. Touch feels dull, like a favorite song played with the volume turned way down. But instead of asking questions, we usually shrug it off with the familiar phrase, "It's probably just my age." And I understand that response. It feels safe, comfortable. It helps us avoid facing a deeper fear, the fear that we're quietly losing control over a part of ourselves that's not just physical, but symbolic, a part tied to our identity, our sense of manhood, our intimacy with a partner, and even our will to feel alive. But here's the truth. This isn't simply getting older. It's an early warning sign. From your circulatory system, from your sexual nerves, from those tiny blood vessels and delicate nerve endings that are gradually weakening, losing function, and shrinking your body's ability to respond. Picture it like this. When a phone's battery is dying, it doesn't just shut down. First, the screen dims. It gets sluggish. Apps take longer to open. That's the phone saying, "I'm running out of power." Your body is the same. When morning erections disappear, when your penis barely responds to stimulation, when pleasure starts to feel cold and distant, that's your body whispering, "I'm low on nutrients, I'm low on blood, I'm low on oxygen, I need you to care again." I still remember Mr. Robert, 68 years old, a retired construction engineer. Very practical, the kind of man who only visits a doctor when absolutely necessary. He came to see me with what sounded like a simple concern. "Doc, I don't get those morning risings anymore. It's been a while. but I still feel healthy. I walk every day. It's probably just age, right? I looked into his eyes and I saw something I've seen many times, a worry hiding behind a smile. I asked a few more questions gently, and he finally admitted. It wasn't just the mornings. He had trouble getting hard during masturbation too. The sensation had dulled. And when he did climax, he felt empty, like he had just done something that no longer belonged to him. I explained to him that losing morning erections is one of the earliest signs of poor pelvic blood flow. It's not just about dropping hormones, it's a signal that your blood vessels are failing to deliver enough oxygen where it matters. And if ignored, these changes can become permanent. At that point, it's no longer just about pleasure. It's a sign that your circulatory system is aging in ways that could predict future heart disease. Some men sense these changes, but don't know what to do, so they stay silent. They feel embarrassed. They let it go. And the body? It keeps quietly declining. I've had men come see me at 75, 78 years old, and by then, full recovery is much harder. But if they had taken action at 65, the results could have been completely different. If after you masturbate, you quickly pull your pants back up and walk away like it was just a secret act you'd rather forget, then you're missing one of the most powerful opportunities you have to listen to yourself. Next time, try this. Stay still for a moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, how did that feel today? Am I still sensitive? Was something different from the last time? If it's hard to tell, write it down, just a few lines. Keep a small journal to track your body's responses. Over time, it will show you a bigger picture. Are you improving or slowly slipping away without even realizing it? This isn't about measuring performance. It's about telling yourself, I care. I'm here. And sometimes, that's all the body needs to begin healing. Because real connection doesn't start with someone else. It starts with honesty, with yourself. And your body, or no matter how old, will always listen, if you're willing to truly hear what it's trying to say. Mistake number 2, masturbating too aggressively. Some habits stay with men for life, not because they're good, but because they're familiar. One of those is the way we've been touching ourselves since our younger years. Fast, rough, full body tension, like we're fighting against ourselves just to squeeze out a drop of feeling we're not even sure is still there. I once had a patient named Don, 72 years old, a former professional baseball player, now retired in Florida, still active and full of energy. He came to see me because, in his words, it just wasn't responding anymore. No sensitivity, no rise when he needed it, and even when he got hard, it didn't last. There are times I have to pull hard, grip really tight just to feel something, he said, his voice low, tinged with frustration. But the harder I go, the more I feel like I'm losing something. I put a hand on his shoulder and told him, Don, you're trying to wake up your body using a whip, when what it really needs is a whisper. Here's the issue. After 60, the blood vessels and nerves around the genitals don't bounce back the way they used to. They're like wet tissue paper, fragile, delicate, easily damaged. When you use excessive force, squeezing, pulling, clenching, you're unknowingly creating microtrauma. Tiny tears in the capillaries and soft tissue. You can't see them. You don't feel them directly, but the body does respond, and it responds by forming scar tissue. Just like a cut on your skin heals with a scar, your body lays down fibrous tissue in the genitals too. But unlike your arm, this area doesn't need scar tissue. It needs softness, elasticity, and good circulation. Scar tissue blocks blood flow, it traps nerve endings, and over time, your pleasure fades not just emotionally, but biologically. The blood stops flowing. The nerves stop firing clearly. It's like trying to listen to music on the radio with a broken antenna. All static, no signal. The sensation fades. Pleasure turns to noise. And in response, you press harder, not realizing that what you're doing is wearing away the very thing you're trying to hold on to. I explained all of this to Don, not to scare him, but to help him understand. Because when we understand, we treat ourselves more gently. I taught him a simple ritual. Before touching yourself, just sit still. No porn, no toys, just you. Close your eyes, place a hand on your belly, Take 5 deep breaths. Feel your breath. Feel the rise and fall. Feel your heartbeat. When your body realizes, I'm safe now, I'm allowed to relax, your nervous system shifts from fight mode to connection mode. And that's where real pleasure begins. Slow, steady, sustainable. Don came back 6 weeks later, and his eyes were different. I don't have to force it anymore, he told me. Just a light touch, and the sensation spreads through me in a way I haven't felt in years. I had no idea my body could still respond. I just didn't know how to ask. So many men believe that to feel, we need more force. But the truth is the opposite. The more finesse, the deeper the feeling. The rougher you are, the more your body shuts down. Imagine comforting a child who's just been through something painful. You wouldn't slap their back or squeeze them tight. You'd touch them softly. And strangely enough, it's that softness that makes them feel safe. Your body is no different, especially after years of stress, pressure, and being ignored. Stop seeing masturbation as just getting it done. Start treating it as a ritual of reconnection, where you don't demand but discover, where you don't force but listen. At this age, strength isn't about power, it's about precision. And when you learn to touch yourself gently, you send a message deep into your body. I respect this body. I want it to heal. I'm not pushing it, I'm partnering with it. If this message resonates with you, leave a comment below with a simple but powerful statement. I choose finesse over force. That's not just a promise to yourself. That tells me you're still here, you're still listening, and you're ready for change. Hit the like button and subscribe if you want to keep learning how to care for your body the right way. Because what we're about to uncover next may not just change your physical experience, but your emotions from the outside in. Mistake number 3, not using lubrication. There's something I find both amusing and a little heartbreaking. When I ask men over 60 whether they use lubricant, most laugh and shake their heads. The most common answers, I'm not a woman, or no way I need that stuff. Sound familiar? Maybe you've thought the same thing. But you know what saddens me? Not that they lack knowledge, but that they've missed a simple opportunity to preserve the most precious sensation time is quietly stealing away. After age 60, your body changes. Not in obvious ways like losing teeth or graying hair, but deep down in the smallest layers of your skin. The skin around your genitals, once soft, flexible, becomes fragile, dry, and stripped of the natural oils and collagen that used to help it withstand friction. Imagine your hands in winter without lotion, dry, cracked, stinging. Now imagine the most sensitive part of your body, the part you almost never care for, facing dry friction every time you touch it. Each time, hundreds of thousands of skin cells are stretched, tiny blood vessels are compressed. And this doesn't just cause immediate discomfort, it creates low-level chronic inflammation, quiet but constant. Over time, your body responds by laying down scar tissue, internal fibrosis that doesn't hurt, doesn't show, until the day you realize the feeling is gone. I remember Joe clearly, a 67-year-old man with sad eyes. He didn't come in for a specific illness, but for a silent worry. I don't feel anything anymore. It still works, but it doesn't feel like it's mine. His wife still loved him. They were still intimate, but he was drifting, away from her and from himself. We talked, I examined him, and then I asked, "Do you use any lubricant when you masturbate or have sex?" Joe blushed slightly but answered honestly, "No. I always thought that was for women." I gently explained, as one would to an old friend, that lubricant isn't about gender. It's about biology. It's about protection. Just like you wear reading glasses to see more clearly, or use eye drops when your vision blurs. Your skin needs lubricant to protect the delicate areas that are losing their natural elasticity. I gave him a small tube, water-based, unscented, chemical-free, and said, "Just 1 drop. It's a way to care for a part of your body that's been quietly forgotten." 2 weeks later, Joe returned, his eyes brighter, a soft smile on his face. "I didn't know it could make such a difference," he said. "It's not about sex, It's about connection. I felt like myself again. Do you see? Pleasure doesn't come from fancy techniques. It comes from how well you care for the emotional zones inside your body. Masturbating without lube after 60 doesn't just hurt your skin. It overstimulates the nerves, squeezes blood vessels, and over time, numbs you. The result? Loss of sensation, poor blood flow, even erectile issues. Don't wait until you're sore to reach for lubricant. Start today. My personal advice for you, choose a water-based lubricant. No fragrance, no parabens, no synthetic perfumes. Store the tube somewhere visible, next to your toothpaste or eye drops. Use it before every session and during intimacy, if applicable. Don't think of it as extra pleasure. Think of it as insurance for your sense of feeling, your connection, your selfhood. You don't need to change your life. Just one drop, one small habit, but it can save you from losing something that feels small, but once it's gone, is almost impossible to get back. The feeling of intimacy, the feeling of life, the feeling of being yourself. If this message speaks to you, leave a simple but powerful sentence in the comments. I protect my body with care. That is your commitment, your first step, and your signal to hundreds of other men out there that you're not alone on this journey. Don't forget to hit like so YouTube knows this content matters. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I personally invite you to join this journey, one where you learn to care more deeply for your body and for the quiet emotional world that's been waiting for your attention. Stay with me, because the next section reveals a behavior so common, yet so harmful, that it might be silently cutting off your life force every time you touch yourself. And chances are, you've done it without even realizing. Mistake number 4. Holding your breath at the peak of pleasure. There's something surprisingly common and surprisingly overlooked among men over 60. Many of them unknowingly hold their breath as sexual sensation begins to rise. Most don't even realize it's happening inside their own bodies. It's not loud, not obvious, more like an unconscious reflex, so automatic we have no idea it's there. But this seemingly natural reaction in a body that no longer has the flexibility and resilience of youth can create consequences far greater than we imagine. So what happens when you hold your breath? Blood pressure spikes, muscles tense, blood flow becomes restricted, and most critically, the tiny blood vessels in the pelvic region, which need to stay open and flowing to maintain erection and sensation, suddenly get cut off. It's as if you're choking the very stream that needs to stay flowing at its strongest moment. I remember Harold, a 70-year-old man, tall, quiet, with thoughtful eyes. He came to me confused, unsure why he was feeling short of breath during intimacy. Not in his lungs, but in his sensation. His erection wouldn't hold like before. Sometimes it faded halfway through, even though the desire was still there. I don't understand, doctor. I don't smoke. I don't drink. My blood pressure is good. I eat well. But just when I'm about to climax, it's like my body shuts off. We had a long talk. I asked, "Have you ever noticed your breathing right before orgasm?" He paused, then gave a surprised smile. "I think I do hold my breath. I never thought that could be a problem. This is one of the most common and dangerous habits I see. In moments of intense arousal, the brain slips into a high alert state. The body instinctively clenches, locks up, holds the breath as if it's bracing for a sprint. But a man's body over 60 can't absorb that kind of internal pressure like it used to. The pelvic blood vessels are already aging, the nerves more delicate. Holding your breath at that moment is like squeezing shut the pump just as you need it to send blood where it matters most. Imagine trying to fill a jug with water while pressing your thumb over the spout. Nothing flows through, and you're left wondering, why isn't it filling? Breath is the bridge between your emotions and your body. When you interrupt that flow, you disconnect from the very moment you're trying to experience. Some men believe that holding their breath makes the feeling more intense or last longer. But in truth, it distorts the experience, leaving it hollow, unfulfilling, and worse. It can lead to long-term damage to your circulatory system. I suggested something simple to Harold. Next time, just notice your breath. Don't force deep breaths, just don't hold your breath. I taught him a calming exercise, the 4-7-8 breath. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale gently for 8. Not to last longer, but to keep the body from slipping into a state of conflict with itself. A week later, Harold returned with a quiet smile. I didn't expect it, but just by breathing right, everything changed. Things slowed down, went deeper. I wasn't watching from the outside. I was in it. I was really there. If you've read this far, I want to invite you to try something small. Next time you're alone, place your hand on your belly and feel the rhythm of your breath. When arousal builds, don't tense. Don't hold. Breathe out gently. Let the blood flow freely, without force, without interruption. When you do that, you don't just feel more. You protect your precious vascular system that's already growing weaker with age. Breath is the thread that ties you to your masculinity. To breathe is to stay alive, to stay connected, to stay present, not through pressure, but through presence. If you've ever noticed yourself holding your breath without realizing it, or if you're ready to learn how to breathe in a way that brings you back to yourself, leave a simple comment below. I breathe to connect. It's a small statement, but a powerful first step in a bigger transformation. And if you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share this message so more men can learn to listen to themselves again. In the next section, I'll share a habit that seems harmless, but done too often, it might be the very thing draining your desire and energy without you ever realizing. Don't miss it. Mistake number 5, masturbating too frequently. Martin, 74, was once a man of great presence, a former music teacher with soft hands and eyes that sparkled with sensitivity. After his wife passed away, he lived alone. Retirement was peaceful, but quietly lonely. To fill those nameless voids, Martin began masturbating every day. Not out of overwhelming desire, but because it was the only thing left that made him feel his body still responded, still lived. He told me one late afternoon, hesitantly, "I still do it regularly, Brian. It helps me sleep. But recently a woman entered my life, someone I truly care about, and I felt nothing. It's not that I didn't love her. It's like my body had gone numb." Martin's story is not rare. After 60, many men find themselves in the same place, not because their desire has disappeared, but because their nervous system, hormones, and circulation no longer recover the way they used to. Frequent masturbation, seemingly harmless, can quietly erode their sensitivity, responsiveness, and ability to truly connect, one session at a time. In youth, the body can tolerate higher frequency. Testosterone levels rebound quickly, dopamine rises again after orgasm, and blood vessels and nerves bounce back in hours. But after 60, everything slows, significantly. After each ejaculation, testosterone can drop sharply for days. Dopamine crashes leave you feeling hollow, not excited, but tired, indifferent, even sad. Worse, without enough recovery time, the microcapillaries in the genitals can become mildly inflamed, leading to reduced blood flow, weaker erections, and fading sensation. I once asked Martin, "How do you feel after each time?" He replied, "It feels nice in the moment, but afterward it's like I've lost something. I don't even feel like playing music anymore." That right there is a sign of a dopamine-depleted system, one that desperately needs time to restore itself after climax. Masturbation is not wrong. I emphasize that with every patient. But when it becomes compulsive, done out of habit, out of emptiness, out of not knowing what else to do, it becomes a double-edged sword. It doesn't just impact your physical performance, it dulls your emotions, it weakens your ability to bond with others and with yourself. Imagine drinking a glass of fine wine every day. At first it's a pleasure, then it becomes routine, then addiction, until you can't even taste the wine anymore. It's just a reflex. That's what happens when you turn something sacred into a string of unconscious actions. Your testosterone drains, your dopamine stops recovering, and one day your body still moves, but you feel nothing. The solution isn't abstinence, it's elevation. Turn masturbation into a high-quality ritual, A private moment, mindfully prepared, like you would for a date. Choose 2 to 3 times a week instead of every day. Create a quiet space. Pick a time when your mind is calm, not clouded by loneliness or stress. Use a quality lubricant. Breathe deeply before beginning, and afterward, lie still for a few minutes, feeling your body. Not just reaching climax, but actually feeling alive, feeling like you've touched something within. Martin did just that. After 3 weeks of adjustment, he returned to my office with a guitar in his hands. He had written a song, the title, and when I stopped repeating and started feeling. He said, "I don't need to do it every day anymore. But when I do, I feel myself there. My emotions are back. I feel hope." If you've ever believed masturbation was the only way to deal with your emotions, try slowing down. Leave a comment below. I choose quality, not habit. That's more than a sentence. It's the choice of a seasoned man, one who doesn't live on autopilot, but who chooses awareness. And if this message has helped you better understand yourself, please hit like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, especially those who may be silently struggling with emotions they've never been taught to name. In the next section, I'll help you tie everything together, not just to avoid mistakes, but to rebuild the intimacy and vitality you thought you had lost. Stay with me, because there is still so much left for you to feel and to truly live. You know, sometimes the biggest changes in life don't come from loud events, but from quiet moments like this, when a man pauses, listens to his own body and realizes, I still matter. I can still change, and I deserve to reconnect with myself. What you've just heard isn't just a warning about 5 silent habits that harm the sexual health of men over 60. It's also a gentle reminder. You are not past your prime. Your body still holds the power to heal. Your desire is still within you, and love, physical and emotional connection, has not left you. It's simply been waiting for your return with more softness, more patience, and deeper understanding than ever before. If there's one thing you take away from this video, let it be this. Quality matters more than frequency. Presence matters more than motion. And self-understanding is the first step to any kind of renewal. Don't treat these ideas as theory. Begin applying them today. One deeper breath, one moment of pause to feel, one conscious decision instead of an unconscious reaction. These small, repeated shifts are what create quiet but lasting revival in men at this stage of life. If this message has touched you, if you feel grateful that someone finally put into words what you've quietly worried about, please leave a comment below. We'd love to hear, I choose connection, not just habit. That's not just a message to us. It's a declaration to yourself that your journey toward change has already begun. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and if you want to support more heartfelt, deeply thoughtful content like this, tap the super thanks button. Every thank you is a warm handshake from your side of the screen to ours. Right now, take a moment to watch the next video that's showing, or choose one of the recommended ones beside it, where we continue sharing honest stories, useful advice, and the truths every grown man deserves to hear, even if they've never been spoken aloud before. I'm Dr. Brian Smith. Thank you for listening with an open heart and a ready mind. It's never too late to care for yourself. I'll see you in the next video.